women in startups, women in tech is still way too rare. So your beloved Startup Grind team decided that we should turn the spotlight on not one, but 3 amazing female entrepreneurs from our local community. They run amazing companies. Also, they do highly relevant stuff for startups, and we have a bunch of startups right here. So we have some world-class branding and marketing in terms of education. That's great, right? Learning. Mega sharp math modeling. And we're going to talk about Internet of Things, which is very interesting. Now, just before we applaud everybody on stage here, so who's been at a Startup Grind before by raise of hands? We got a couple of good ones. Very good, very good. So then you guys at least for sure know what a Startup Grind welcome means. You got some nodding going on? Yes. All right, good. For the other ones, let's make sure we get it right. It's about lifting, it's about getting the roof to lift up even though the rain would be bad. A lot of energy. You want to use your feet, your hands, your voice, and really get an experience of a rock star greeting. Get it? Yes. Ready? Yeah. All right. Okay, so without further ado, we have here some wonderful people. We have, over the 3 conversations tonight, SM participants for kickboxing. We have Allsvenskan in beach volley. We have accumulative parents to 5 kids. We have 4 months from startup to positive cash flow. We have a person that has won the fight against leukemia that she got when she was only 26. We have a birthday lady. She's got her 31st birthday today. So please, let's give it up. A big, huge Startup Grind welcome to all our guests. Company, name, private, what's your life look like? Okay. Short about what? Long question. Yeah, well, okay.
Name, Karin. I'm the president for the company named Invinn, and we work with branding and brand strategies. We help company with their business strategies to really make that happen in real life with the clients and consumers. And we have clients in a lot of different kind of areas. We work with cars, as most companies does in Sweden, or in Gothenburg as well. And we do a lot of evaluations now surrounding the city and how to build new cities and how to make place branding and place making. And we also do some more technical companies with business to business. And we have just learned a lot of business to business companies that branding is also in this area a very, very important question. So we have lots of new business in that area. That's nice. Mm-hmm.
What do you do on your free time?
Free time? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have 2 kids. I'm one of those mothers. And they are quite... sorry, any hobbies? Yeah. For myself? Yes. I do some horse riding? Yeah.
Horseback riding? Yeah.
Horseback riding, yeah. I try to do that as much as I can together with my daughter. That's a very nice way of to relax and to have lots of new energy. Although I fell off this summer or this spring and I had some problems with that, but I'm back again. So house, have family, interesting work, and some and a summer house we just bought. So yeah, I keep myself busy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you. Sofia. Hello.
Yes. Hi.
Perfect. Tell me, same story about you, your company,
All right.
what do you do? Yeah.
My name is Sofia. I'm founder and CEO of Vinnter. We create smart, connected products and innovative digital services. So just the question of not just being connected is really important for us. What kind of service does this product or this solution actually offer to the end user? So in that sense, the company is based on people with multifunctional competences. Software, connectivity, electronics, business models, data storage, business intelligence. It could be a lot, yeah? But we really need to have that kind of insight. Of course, connectivity and embedded system is our core. But we help customers to really create something that produce cost-efficient infrastructure, but at the end, make the digitalization happening within the industry. So quite adventurous company, would I say. Quite unique in whatever we are offering. It's not just technology, it's the value of it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, thank you. Linda, a couple of words.
Yes. My name is Linda. I am co-founder and CEO of Case5. We work with structural simulations, like strength and fatigue, crash simulations, buckling and weight optimization, to mention a few. We work a lot with the automotive industry here in Gothenburg. We also work with within the engineering industry with consumer products like cellular phones. We are 15 employees at Case5 today, and we started in 2010. Yeah.
Amazing, yeah. Just to kind of put that into perspective, we're talking about, so I googled a little bit after we talked last time, even if I studied engineering. So the finite element method is one of the most powerful numerical methods available for solving partial differential equations.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we use on a day-to-day basis, the finite element method. You are absolutely correct in your description, I would say.
It's craziness.
Yeah. On a day-to-day basis, we have a CAD geometry most often that we use that we model, and we apply loads and boundary conditions and things like that, and we use the commercial software to solve the program using the finite element method. I guess some of you here are engineers, so maybe you studied this at Chalmers or whatever.
Makes sense. Well, okay, we can chat about it later. Yeah, sorry for the disco lights. Apparently we're supposed to go and dance. We keep insisting on sitting still, and then I guess the DJ gets kind of ticked off and putting on the screen. Yeah, this is actually quite evil stuff, but Karin, this came up when we chatted before. So seriously, right here in Gothenburg area, right? So when you were a kid, school put you through speech therapy to wash away your skånska.
Yeah. you liked that one, didn't you?
Oh, seriously, right? Gothenburg.
Yeah.
But how the hell did that happen?
Well, where was I from Skåne? How did hell did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I ended up in Gothenburg because my mother's from Gothenburg and my father is from Skåne. He's from Ystad, and it's very, very much Skåne in that part. So when I started school, I still had this dialect. And I had a teacher who was very, very insistent on that I didn't speak correctly, so I had to go to the specifics teacher to learn how to speak. So, and she was right.
You can't hear any skånska here at all. Right?
You want to hear some skånska?
Yeah.
I heter Karin.
That is awesome.
No, I think that was really, the reason I mentioned it to you is probably because it did something to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I can't really forget that. But I don't know whether it was bad or good, so I'm not really sad about it at the moment, but it was a strange thing to happen.
I think it's fascinating that it was culturally okay at that time.
Yeah. At that time, maybe sounds very old, didn't it?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah. When was that?
When I went to school?
Yeah.
Do you need to start to calculate right now?
No, but approximately. Maybe they can help you calculate.
At 70s.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So at that time, that was okay.
I don't know whether it was okay or not. I was the only one who did that. I never met anyone else who did it when this happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we could start to figure out if it's okay.
Yeah,
If someone else, have you been to some kind of similar things?
Anybody? Anybody?
Because the way you talk or the way you have your dialect or anything? No.
Anybody wash away your
Yeah,
dialect?
yeah. I have a friend and another one. Great.
Okay, so it's not that. It would be. I mean, I think so. An interesting conversation would be to see. So, you know, I sense that Sweden's changed a lot in the
Yeah.
last 40 years. Right? It's still going on. So that's
Still happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super fascinating.
Yeah.
But so
We need to talk about that later. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll hook up.
Yeah.
Because so another thing that you would think is changed or is changing, but I still find it fascinating that it is a conversation, and a conversation I thought, let's make sure we have that one philosophically before we hit the break, so that we have a lot of people chit-chatting. But so we're sitting, right, in 2015. How, in the name of all good things, right, is it still a rarity that, you know, with ladies running startups and entrepreneurship companies, just as an open conversation? We can start with you, maybe, Karin Sjöström in the mic.
I have left this one.
Yeah, just keep it for a while.
Okay.
Well, we discussed that a lot, and we discussed whether we wanted it to be a specific topic for this evening. We're here because we're women. Is that the only reason, or are we here because we do something that could be interesting? And of course, that is kind of sensitive.
Yeah, do you have something?
But I think it's can be many reasons, of course. But one reason could also be that we are very good at. I mean, every trend, everything says that women or girls are good at school. They're good at examinations, and something happens when we start to be more. Expected to take more responsibilities. So then you start questioning yourself. Maybe we are more analytics in a way. We start to analyze, how will this influence my life? Do I have the time? Is this really what I want to do? I think sometimes, I don't know whether that is because we're born like that or if it's the way of how we be raised, but I think we do more analysis creating the situation and what it will, the efforts and the input we have to make sometimes. I don't know. Could that be a reason? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
I just picked that from somewhere. You wanna make a comment on that one?
I don't know really. I think what you say is true, or could be true. I think maybe we're more afraid to fail. Maybe, I don't know. Theory.
Actually, I don't see myself as a woman. I'm Sofia. I happen to be a woman. The same way goes with, I mean, we have different personality. I wasn't fearless as a young adult. I got fearless later on. And being fearless for me is one of the insights of being an entrepreneur. So, I mean, it's with the company, why do we need more women? Oh, we need different set of personalities. So in that sense, of course, probably if you make a, generalization of everything, that often women don't have that kind of fearless sort of attitude, and that could be a reason. But first of all, I'm Sofia, not a woman.
For sure. I love that. That's worth a big round of applause right there. Did you have in your path from what to fearless, Sofia? But did you have like any mentors? Or what do you think drove that behavior?
I'm born and almost raised in Iran. I came here to Sweden with my family as 14-year-old girl. In Iran, you get either to be an engineer if you're a guy, but mostly you got to be a doctor. And for a girl, doctor first, engineer, not so. So I had master in science and physics at Chalmers. So that was, Sofia dentist, that could be. So that was that kind of background. But my father passed away for a couple of years ago. He was totally fearless and a lousy businessman. Really bad in organization, but really good in networking. but his fearless attitude gave me that kind of sense that everything is possible, even though I don't know how to do it. But being an entrepreneur and that kind of background, that you gotta hit it until you get success. And here in Sweden, actually success is not that kind of pressure, but fulfilling yourself. That could be the one thing that I got to learn in Sweden. So less of the pressure and prestige, and more of fulfilling myself, together with the fearless.
Very cool. In terms of, if you look, to your personal experience philosophy, what's the worst glass ceiling or chauvinistic experience that you take, that you can just off the top of your head?
I really, really hate good enough. I really, really hate status quo. Good enough for me is that when you compromise with everything. Good enough is when people think that, it's something between make it quick and dirty, but just show me your vision. The next step could be just show me how it works. That's the next step level. Could be make me satisfied, or it could be wow me. Nothing is good enough. Everything has a purpose. So for me, that is something I really can't settle with. The other one is the status quo. I have changed my job whenever everything is alright, and just continue doing that. This is really good. No improvement. Alright, then I need to take next step. Doesn't have to be upwards, but status quo and good enough.
Super interesting. Thank you. Linda, in terms of the same question, right? Personal experiences, philosophy, let's start with talking about if you've ever had any glass ceiling or specifically worst chauvinistic experience to illustrate.
Actually, I have a very good example of that, I would say. When I was at my first job, I was working as a simulation engineer at a consultant company, and I was working at a customer here in Gothenburg, and I went to a meeting, and the project leader said to me, "Oh, let's see what you have accomplished, lilla gumman." That's not good.
That must have, fired you off in like 45 cylinders.
Yeah, it did.
Is she still alive? Just checking.
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, but it wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me. But I've also had the other way around when I see I've had one fantastic manager where I used to work. He was always, even though I didn't have any experience as a manager and I took my first job as a group manager, he always showed that he trusted me in every sense and he supported me all the way. So I have both, I have to say.
Exactly. Do you have any specific mentors in your life that's been helping you accomplish your path?
I think actually that's the manager that I talk about.
Yeah.
He's still a good friend, and I call him sometimes to just to get some advice and things like that.
That's awesome. Very nice. All right. Well, thank you. Karin, in terms of worst glass ceiling, chauvinistic experience that ticked you off or whatever, do you have anything that's happened to you in your life?
Well, I've had the opportunity to work with a great manager. I was working with Kapal for a few years, or many years, and he was the kind of, as you talked, the manager that really gave you and I think that's quite, the people you meet during your travels are really the ones that set your mind, how you see things and what you want to do and how you see yourself. And he was very trusted me in what I wanted to do, and he really asked me, "What do you want to do? You have this company, you can do whatever you want. If you just could choose, what kind of work would you have?" And I told him the kind of work I would like to have, and he said, "Well, let's go for that." And when I did that, and I had that job, and it was great. And when I went into his office to say I wanted to move on and leave the company, he was, of course, sad, but also very happy for me, and he said that, okay, Karin, nice to work with you, and I meet you the next time when we see each other, you will be CEO. And I never ever thought about myself in that position before he mentioned that, and never. I saw myself as a very hardworking person and a very enthusiastic person, a lot of things that people said about me. But for me, hearing someone else thinking that I could have this kind of job, that was really the wow effect you talked about. So that was, for me, a breakthrough, I think. And I met him, he's a consultant now as well, and I met him, and he just said, so what company are you CEO of? He just didn't question it. That was quite nice to answer that, okay, I can tell you about this company now. So that's good. Something I think that I really don't like is when people really look at themselves as they are just in some situation without being responsible for it. I have really tough with when I have employees or people that want to, blame others or blame the circumstances, or if not that could have happened, I would have done this and this, and so that really makes me pissed off. So I think, and also I think that has also been very important for me to think that, I mean, it's really up to you. If you want to do something, it's nobody else would ever do that for you. You have to realize that, and it's really not impossible if you want to do it enough. And if you don't want to do it enough, don't do it, because then it's not worth it. So that's something I have to work with, not to be too angry with people who have that kind of attitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the whole beginning of everything and having a manager who really pushes you. For many years ago, I started after Chalmers as a young consultant within consultant company Semcon, and Hans Johansson was CEO there. And he had this every year introductionary 2 days, really pep talking everyone. And during those kind of sessions, when I introduced myself, he just stand up, look at Sofia, within 3 years she's going to be a manager. Wow, Sofia, you're going to make it. And he really brainwashed me. And I'm really, really sure he didn't know me, he didn't know anything about me, and he just, I think he... what?
Anybody?
Alarm.
Oh.
And I think Hans used that kind of...
Yeah, we don't start back. Sorry. The police come, they can join us.
Perfect. And Hans really used that kind of a tool to, push people. And years after that, I sent Hans an email that, now I'm a department manager, and I really use your kind of, way of pushing people and give them that kind of visionary push along the way. And he responded to me, Sofia, you need to come to Vinngroups. So that was the story behind it. Same Hans. He's still brainwashing us.
Okay, very good. By the way, Milad, big round of applause. Thanks for saying that. We got to get some technology figured out before we hit on a short coffee break. So I want to bring it back a little bit to the male conversation and be annoying on that point. And do you guys think that Sweden or Gothenburg or such is differentiating itself in any way?
Compared to your own?
Yeah, you pick the country. Yeah, maybe not Iran. That'll be too easy of a pick. No low-hanging fruits. But let's be difficult, right? Do you think that is there any benefits, right?
Really?
By being
In
Swedish.
Gothenburg and
In Sweden, being a female entrepreneur and CEO, we have a culture that is in fact, better or not. When you're out, you're meeting clients, customers, that kind of thing. What's your experiences being the president, founder, CEO of a company, of a startup?
Actually, the respond, Sofia Gumman, I have never, ever, ever heard about it. From the day one, when I started in Chalmers, every summer job I had, every job after that, I've always been, of course, one of the two girls or only one girl, but along the way, I have had the lucky perspective that always be pushed by great managers, great partners, great customers, with all the respect along the way.
That is awesome.
think I had the picture that it was very specific in Sweden. And when I was 30 years old, I was the manager of an office or department that bought clothes at Kappahl. And I went to China to inspect, and I was the manager of this area, and I went to inspect the different kind of industries we had. And I really prepared myself. I thought of myself as I'm young, I'm a woman, I will be there, inspect those different kind of retail area, yeah, you know. I'm not going to say fabric because I did that mistake when I was a Kappahl. That means a different kind of thing, as you know, so it's the industries. And I really, you know, pushed myself. I went there on my own. I was totally on my own. I had just someone to help me with the language. We went out to the countryside, and it was really a very big experience by itself, of course. But when I met this manager and the people there, they didn't treat me at all different. So I had to, you know, reboot my own mindset, because I was so sure I would have to fight for my right to be this manager. And they treated me perfectly well. They never mentioned any words about being young or being a woman or anything. So I had that feeling before, but I've totally changed my mind. No, we are not different in Sweden. Sometimes we are a bit after, I would say. I think we have a picture of ourselves that is a bit worrying, because we think we are so much ahead. And we think we are so much, sometimes more modern, but we are not. Those were the years. This time is gone, in my opinion. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I was thinking that I think it might differ between industries, perhaps. I mean, for me, it's I work with a lot of men. I've always did that. There are not many female structural analysts out there, unfortunately. And when I get to a customer meeting, it's like I'm a bit exotic. So I always try to use that instead. Right. That I am different, and in maybe not the typical person working with this stuff. But yeah, I don't know if that's the case for like your industry.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I think again, just the simple fact that we are having this conversation as a topic, as we spoke before, it's ridiculous, right? It feels very, very, I don't know, 40 years off, like some of our, but nonetheless, just as a couple of wrap-up words, any advice to, you know, aspiring young female entrepreneurs sitting here in any way?
Don't do it, get a job.
Nice. The guy with the movie, please cut it out. Okay. You're transparent.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it. No, if you have an idea that you really believe in, I say just go, and I think it's important to surround yourself with people that you trust and that you share values with, that you can cooperate with. I think that's very important, and that you stick to your idea and you won't take no for an answer, I would say.
I guess we're very, very true. But also I would say, I think don't be afraid to show that you have passion in what you do. If you really love what you're doing, if you have this dream, let it show, because people love people with fashions, or passion. So let it show passion first, right?
Nice. Always working.
Okay, it's always working. If you want to work with me, you know what you need to have passion about. But I think that's very important, that sometimes don't be too afraid of really being brilliant in what you really want to do. That's just, and that doesn't matter whether you're female or male.
Come to us. I mean, all my life, being from Iran, I've been pushed to having success as some kind of vision or a goal. And success doesn't have to be. Success could be just continuous improvement, continuous learning. just be fearless. Try it out. I mean, we have startups. It could be that a startup actually doesn't fly, but we need to learn. So don't be prestigious. You don't have to know it all. Just clear out exactly what is your unique point of, advantage and strength, and having people around yourself and fulfill yourself. Don't be afraid. It might as well don't work out, but you've learned a lot. Don't be Iranian.
Nice. And with those words. Awesome. Yeah, that one's a quote. That's a tweet right there. Somebody's gonna pick that up. Some of the 67 million Iranians out there. Retweet favorite hashtag. All right. Well, thank you so much for this great opening. As soon as we stand up, me and the crew are going to jump onto some technological improvements and figure this stuff out. In the meantime, the rest of you, please enjoy a nice fika. Really, really nice. Okay, so did you all have a great fika? Yes. Anybody that's not from Sweden and never had a fika before? No? Okay, yeah, good. It could get awkward otherwise. You guys had a good fika too?
Yes,
Yeah?
great.
Very, very nice. Okay, well, oh yeah, the good old, this is going to be hard with the paperwork. So, we're going to keep these 3 mics rolling. I'm going to go like this, and I would love to just take it now to the entrepreneurial journey, right? So, let's start just framing it by talking about Vinngroups. How come you're all here, and the ecosystem that it provides to you. All right, and if you want to take it away, Karin, and I'll give you this mic in the meantime.
This could be hard, we can talk
At the same time, I am the father. Can I just speak very... Yeah?
Just go for it. Yeah.
Why are we here? Well, Vinngroups is, we talked about it now during the fika. Vinngroups is, all this area we're in is Vinngroups area. So this is not a hotel for different kind of companies, it's all Vinngroups companies. But within this group we are at the moment, I think, 15 companies. And we have a few things we share. We share the entrepreneurship, we share the idea of being the very best in what we do, and we are small companies that are also very educated or dedicated to be very fast-moving and very interested in doing new things. So that's I think the DNA we share. And I think that's why we're here, because we love the idea of being part of that. And the Vinngroups concern, you don't say that, but the Vinngroups, yeah.
Vinngroups Group.
Vinngroups Group, yeah. Group. They have part in our companies, and we have the rest of the ownerships ourselves. So we share the risks and we share the success.
Could I borrow that mic?
No.
There is a
Never.
window I want to throw it out of. So let me just. May I have the other one too? Just give it. All right. So bye. Awesome. Thanks. Does this work? Yes. All right. Everybody hearing us in the back too? Yeah. Are we still sounding crazy? Because maybe it wasn't the mic. Maybe we just. Maybe it's us talking with static. We should stop that. Yeah. Please go ahead. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons. We have a good foundation or good
Basis. Yeah.
basis platform. Yeah, thank you, platform to stand on. And we are not. You're not on your own, but you have your own ideas, and you can really make them come true on your own. And you have lots of nice colleagues to talk to. I didn't know I had that much in common with people working with embedded systems before I met Sofia. We can sit and have a chat over the lunch and realize we have so much in common, but I would never have met her otherwise. So it offers you a great platform for lots of nice discussions, nice people, but also from the business perspective, that you're not on your own, and that's really good. But still, you have to have your own ideas. You have to have your own what do you say? Drivkraft.
Yeah, ambition.
Energy, ambition, everything. Yeah. That's up to you really how you want to handle your company. You can have the support, but Vinngroups is never part of the business idea. That's your own idea.
Very interesting. And Linda, as a tangible example, if you could share kind of your journey of
having a company inside of Vinngroup?
Okay, well, I was working at a big consulting company before I started here, and the thing I saw was that at that company we were 120 structural analysts working in the same department. I was responsible for one group of 20, but I felt like it became very impersonal. Having 120 colleagues working with similar things, you don't really get to know them because they are almost always out at customer site, and you don't really know what they know and how you can help each other and work together. So I started thinking that you should be able to do this differently, and to start a company where you can create a team even though you are working as consultants. And I am a typical team player, I would say. I like that part of the job where you get to gather everyone and you work with company goals, strategy, and things like that together, the entire group. And it was the thought of making something different for me and for everyone who works in the company. That was.
And what was the entry path to?
The entry path was
place?
That I had, of course, done a lot of thinking about this, and then I got in contact with the Vinngroup. It was actually the guy I mentioned before, my former manager, who said to me, "You should talk to Hans at Vinngroup."
Right.
So I did, and I came to him with my idea that this is what I want to do. This is what I want to make differently from a big consulting company, and he liked it, I guess. And then we worked with the business plan over and over and over again, and I was very impatient.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get going and start, and he was like, "Okay, let's tweak this a little bit." And now I think that was a very, very good process, actually, that he kind of held me back a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, super interesting. Sofia, in terms of like the relationship between your company and Vinngroup, and in general, how's that structured?
Vinngroup owns 50% of Vinnter, and the other part is partly owned by me, but also my colleagues within Vinnter. And that is the whole base of entrepreneurship, that each and every person within our group and our companies need to feel that kind of entrepreneur initiative and driving force. Whether it goes badly, you don't actually provide any result, but also when it's good. So in case you want that kind of driving force within each and every colleague, then they need to understand the fact that the money comes from here, and if I provide this and no one buys, then it's quite wrong. So that's the sort of engine behind it.
Right. And then, so one thing that came up in our discussions, because this is the more or less generic structure for all of the Vinngroup companies, and it's I think quite rare to have this setup that kind of incubates those ideas. And then it leads to some interesting cultural aspects, the one that I know that you've been specifically involved in, but you all have as a philosophy that if you find a new vertical or somebody in your team, then it's very possible that instead of doing it within the company, you spin off a new company, right? So could you share a little bit about like how would that work?
Well, in Invinn now we are about 20 people, and we are growing quite fast. We've 4 new people since the start this year, so it's a big, and we have a very good business at the moment. So we have also very good business new ideas, because when the company is growing, a lot of people start thinking about how can we do this better. So that also happens when you have a good flow. So we've started to think if we can do 2 companies of this company, because we have now more than one good idea within the company. So we started that discussion with Vinngroup, if that is possibility. And of course that is, for me as a manager, very, very nice in a way, but also a bit frightening, because I will maybe cut off one of my most providing part that really brings in money to me, and I will also give one of my colleagues the same position as I have myself and meet him or her in new VD meetings or CIO meetings and things. So, but that's really part of the philosophy, and you have to like the idea of sharing and like the idea of see people grow and see ideas grow. So I am really pushing that idea right at the moment.
So the whole idea is to keep each company quite lean and quite small,
yes.
and with
very
one
efficient.
vision.
Very
So
efficient.
at the time when your business idea gets, in several different directions, then it's quite difficult to keep it together.
Right.
So in that sense, cloning companies brings one vision, one idea, and people who are focusing on the same.
Yeah.
That is the whole.
Yeah, and it could be that you have more than one good idea, or it can also be that you have more than one good person that is really a good embryo for being a good leader. So that is also could be a reason of doing this, that you want to give a new person a new challenge, because otherwise they might leave the company, and you don't want that to happen within the group. So you give them company so they can stay within the group instead.
Right. Really a company within the company.
Yes, yeah.
That's super interesting.
Vinngroups group.
Yeah, Vinngroups group is becoming the new thing. Maybe you should. Yeah. From a branding point of view.
From branding point, it's brilliant from branding point of view.
Group. Yeah.
Group.
So, so another interesting aspect of all three of you, right, is you kind of nudged upon it, but you've all come from a corporate background and specifically went entrepreneurial. So if we start with you, Sofia, why?
Actually, being here is nothing new. I've done marketing from scratch, bringing up a new organization from scratch, making industrialized product from scratch. I've done all of those things within corporate before. So in that sense, Vinnter enables me to do all of it at once. My God, are you stupid? but making it from scratch with no walls, no ceiling, that made it happen. But I mean, it was not like, I've never done it before. I mean, like Pippi Longström. I don't know how to do it, but it's probably something I would learn. I have done it before. So fearless comes not from a good night's sleep. It comes from that I'm quite settled with that. Of course, much to learn in the future. But I've done it before in corporate. So you don't have to start up a company. Make it happen in corporate in a safe mode first. That could be a one step.
Interesting. How about for you?
I think, as you said, it's about how you look upon yourself as well. I never thought of myself as being the entrepreneur or whatever. But when I look back, when we started to talk about this, I look back, I can see that I've always been in changing things. So you start with a company, or you have an area to take care of, you start changing things, and you start feeling that this could be done better, as you said. And you come to a specific point when you realize that, shit, I want to decide this for myself, because now no one is going to stop me. I have lots of ideas I want to test and think if this is going to work out. So I think the company thing it could be a good platform, but I think it's more about a philosophy of the way of life, what you do, because if you have this within you, you do it no matter where you are. You will do it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Or sooner or later you will probably realize that I need to do this on my own, or you end up not trying it, and then you will be sad and regret yourself. Yeah.
Right. Super interesting.
Well, for me, I have to say it was the things I mentioned before, that you had to do this, you must be able to do this differently and better. And I was very sick of a big, slow company.
So that was a main driving force for you to get out.
I wanted to move on, make it happen, and make it faster and better.
When we were having our pre-chat, there was 2 moments in terms of just general entrepreneurship where kind of all 3 of you went in mega consensus mode.
Okay.
And,
What's that?
yeah, I wrote them down not to forget it. Yeah.
A moment of blackout.
Yeah. So one of them was, he said like this. One of you said, well, during my entire corporate life, you felt, why was it always me who needs to get this done? So you're very driven by that.
Yeah.
And the second one was, work-life balance is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. So let's start with the work-life balance thing, right? As a phrase, Sofia, why is work-life balance as a phrase?
I mean, work-life balance is good enough. Hate it as well. Balance is when you need, I mean, as a kid, you don't stop playing football and come in. Oh, hate it. Stop working when it's at most fun. I hate it. Stop having fun and be a family member when it's the most fun. Hate it as well. So there is no balance, 8-hour work and the rest of it with the family, or you have 2 hours for working out on Saturday. I am at most creative when I'm with my family. My greatest idea comes somewhere between, I don't know, Molly, what do you get my emails during nights? So, I mean, is it 24-hour being a mom, being, I don't know, in a trail rounds, or being a job? Balance needs to be within, when I'm satisfied with doing a good job. And that could require some hours, of course, but also taking care of the family in a way that I could be proud. So that is my way of having balance. So enjoying life, love, and having the fulfillment of being proud of something. So that is the balance, I mean, not the 8-hour or whatever it could be. Don't portion it out, it gets messy.
Maybe it's not like work life. I mean, work is a part of life. So you just have to get. I think it varies from time to time and from. I mean, all of us, we have pretty free jobs. I mean, if I want to take one afternoon off to just be with my daughter, it's okay. But I have to work like hell on Sunday. But still, so it's life. It's to get everything to work and to take your time to exercise and do the things that you love. For me, it's like it's eating cheese and drinking wine, perhaps.
So it's the separation that is nonsense.
Yeah, I think for me, it's why I agreed when you said it's bullshit. It's because when I realized that I need to stop chasing this balance, that is hell, chasing it all the time and being, I need to find out the balance. When you decided to, as you say, there is no balance. This is life. I just have to deal with it from day to day basis, on a daily basis. Then it's much more easier to handle. But when you have this pressure on you that, do you have a good balance in your life? And that is more attention in chasing that than really try to live and have a nice day. That was when I find out that I don't like that word.
We were talking about being a woman and everything behind it. I mean, I was telling Sam that I was breastfeeding my child when I had employment meeting. I mean, all right, so don't get a wrong picture. But I did that at the same time that years later on, I mean, I'm a football coach for my girl and spending a lot of time with her league. So, I mean, I got ridiculous criticism for bringing my kid to job when she was newborn. And at that time, I needed to do it. But later on, I spent much more than any other, housewife does right now. So that is the kind of balance. So what is balance during several years?
Yeah, and just deal with it where you are right now at this moment.
That's pretty super interesting.
Do you think men get this question very often?
Work-life balance? Yeah. I know I have.
Yeah?
A bunch of times.
What do you answer?
Well, that's why I liked it so much, because look, she's now interviewing. Did you see what she did? That is awesome. I hate the phrase. I think it's bullshit too. Yeah. I totally agree with it. I also, exactly what you said, Linda, for me, you have life. And as soon as you start putting things on polarities, you're going to fail. So it's a part of it. And then it goes up and down, right? And I think you said, Sofia, that now we're paraphrasing each other, which is great fun. But that life is not a transportsträcka. It's not about going from A to B, right? You should enjoy it as you're in it.
Yeah.
And that's also something that you all. We were 4 people going in consensus in a meeting, going, right? Yeah. So it's super, super interesting, and I don't know. I bet that is it for me.
All the time.
No? Okay.
You can leave. We can.
Yeah, you got this covered. We want to make sure to spend a lot of time on the crowdsourced interview. A little bit briefly, the chapter Brilliance and Despair, right? Yeah. And actually, I'd like to start with you, Karin. I mean, we talked about a tough period in your life in terms of your cancer and your treatment. And I think it would be inspiring for a boatload of people, right, to see a case where you can actually work through it, not on TV, but right here. And so, how old were you? And tell us about your story.
Yeah, and I like to share it because I think it's part of me, of course. So it's nothing that's really a big issue anymore. Yeah. But I was 26, and I was I just finished school. I had my exam. And I was back at work, and I was, I just had my engagement with my husband now. He's my husband now. So he was with me all the time. So that was quite nice. And, everything was there. We were ready. We had our jobs. We were just ready for life. And this happened. And I was just, a bit cold. I had catch cold, and I wasn't really getting better. And I went to the doctor, and I had some medications, and things went on. And I just felt like...
This is leukemia, yeah? So
yes, leukemia, yeah. So I was at the doctor on Thursday, and on Friday I was there with chemo. So that was really, really, it was what they say acute leukemia. So we were in a hurry, you could say. So that, of course, that ends up the whole world you have when you realize that, and when you have that kind of message, bring it on to you. But I was, and this is very strange, and this is really very, very true. I never doubt that I would make it. I just wasn't sure how long it would take, and if it would be possible for me to work and live as a normal person, or if I would be stuck in a wheelchair, or I couldn't imagine what it would be like when I had done this. But I just knew all the time that I would make it. And my parents said that every time they were very worried or sad, they just went to visit me, because they knew when they left they felt a lot better, because they said, I just told them, I don't know why you're crying or why you're worried, because I will be back. Just give me a year or two. Yeah. So I stayed at the hospital for a year almost before they let me out. And then I was ready again.
So that was hospital time for about a year?
Yes, for about a year, yeah.
How long in your world did the fight go on? The fight against a specific cancer? Was it that year? Was it 5 years?
For me as a person, or no? I mean,
when did you feel that you won? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I felt that I won from day one, because I knew that this wasn't going to beat me.
Yeah.
But no,
that's
the fight went on more for to have you want the result to say yes, this is over, and then they have this security time when they say they wait for 5 years before they bring you that message. So for me, it was more, I'm like you said, I think before, a bit impatient. So I was more, when I'm ready to work, when I have my I mean, I was quite tiny, and I was quite, you lose a lot of muscles and strength. You need to really be back on the physical term as well. Of course. And I was very impatient in that one, so I had to really, cool down before I could start working again. So that was more my time. My fight was more that I wanted to be back on the track quickly. But let's say 2 years, maybe.
Interesting. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's okay. You're welcome. Any questions? Yeah. It's really, now it's a very nice experience in a way. Don't misunderstand me, but in a way it's an experience that now when I have the result, I wouldn't say that I'm happy, because of course I would have done more funny things this year probably. But of course it's an experience that it's part of me now, and I'm glad I have that experience.
Super. And basically how it will work now is that we'll take the highest ranked question. I'm kind of hoping I can do that in parallel. And the person who posed the question that got the most likes should ask the question. All right? And so, number one, with 22 likes.
Uh-huh.
Boom.
Nice. Yeah.
The winner is,
Yeah. So please tell us your name. Yeah.
My name is Stefan.
Yeah. How you
And
doing?
so my question is, what was the one key that got you to positive cash flow in such short time?
We could split it, Linda.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's take 2.5 months as a reference point there.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
For me and we were two people who started Case5, and for me and my colleague, we had when we started working in projects full time, I would say, and we built the company on nights and weekends. So that was our key to successful cash flow.
hard work.
A lot of work-life balance.
Yeah. A lot of expenses.
A lot of work in the beginning, and we didn't start with an entire team, but we eventually hired people along the way, and I think from 6 months after we started, we were 5 then, so pretty rapidly, but that's the way we did it, and it was hard work, but it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's face it, within Vinngroups, all entrepreneurs start with a skill that they already have. So we don't start with within Vinnter, we do have our skills, even though connected products and that offer is brand new. But this is the area we know well. We do have customers, we do have insight within this kind of market. So
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
this is not a brand new product.
You want to add something there from the 4-month experience? Or is it similar?
Yeah, it's similar, but I think it's important, as Linda said, that you need to be very aware that if you want to start a company and make it a success quickly, it's really hard work. You can't sit on a chair and say, I'm the boss and you're the co-worker or something like that. It's really up to you to be a good, förebild?
Role model?
Model, yeah. You have to be the role model yourself. You can't leave it at the one that leaves the office first time or don't do the things. You really have to be that all the time. I think that's one of the keys.
Interesting. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for a good question. Yeah, clearly very well liked. All right.
So much likes the answers.
Yeah. Well, we can take a vote on that later. So Vanja, where are you at?
Right here.
There you go. You want to pose your question?
My question, yes. First of all, thanks for the talk. My question is, and I use this question a lot actually, how do you find people to bring into your organization that truly care about the organization the way you do?
Good question.
Yeah, round table on that one.
Engage your colleagues. I'm actually involved in the second or third round of interviews with the candidates. So my great colleagues are very much involved in that process. Because if they don't take responsibility for it, probably they won't take responsibility to bring in that new colleague later on. And they know for sure much better than I who we need. So that is our key. But of course, they have much higher standards than I have. So that is, of course, quite difficult.
That's awesome.
I would say also pick areas and events and things where you think that people you need really are as well. You need to go out there, and you can't sit in the office and wait for people to call you, even if we have a lot of spontaneous people who want to work with us. I think you need to be out there, meet people, talk, really use your network and do that a lot and be very active yourself. Also to get the feeling about what people are wanting and how the talk is and so on. So be out there is my absolutely advice.
Like this, we're here to, attract
only for one reason.
Always be hiring.
Yes, always.
Well, I agree with you too, and I think I would like to add that it's important to, in an interview, to really talk a lot about the company values and your own values and that person's values, to see that if you can find that you meet each other at least most of the parts.
Can I add something there?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be honest with that. You have to be honest with the values, because if you hire someone who doesn't share your values, it won't be good in the end anyway.
Mm.
So you have to be very true and honest when you discuss those important things. Really, this is
Super
what
good.
we expect from you. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And at Case5, we've always been very, what do you say, shinkiga?
I
That's
have
a hard
no
word.
translation. Shinky.
Thinking.
Yeah.
Picky,
Yeah,
picky
okay.
when it comes to new colleagues. Not that one person can have a great CV and you can have the exact right background, and but it's like the stomach has to feel like this is 100% the right person for the team. And sometimes I think it's the right person and my colleagues don't, and then we don't go ahead, and vice versa. So I think that's really important to put a lot of effort during the recruitment process.
So be picky, values.
But I mean, as an example, during 3 years, I hired more than 60 people in my former corporate, and in Vinnter. So during the same period of time, we're only 14. So I mean, in this new company, I'm gonna share Vinnter with other people. So the level
have
of
to be picky,
whatever
yeah.
you're looking for is something else.
Yeah.
Ah, super good. All right, well, thank you. Going to the next, I'm going to try to pronounce that name right. Joch or Joche?
That's me.
All right.
That's my nickname. So.
Awesome.
Well, you're doing great things. I've been following Vinngroups since it started, and you do great things all the time. But I'm sure that you made during the journey some mistakes, and it would be nice to learn what was the most valuable mistake you've done and what you learned from it.
I usually say that all mistakes are really, really necessary. Without the mistakes, I mean, we don't take the next step. So in that sense, I'm not sure that I would have, regret it in that sense. So we have one issue with our business model and the whole how to approach market. That is continuous, ongoing. So in that sense, I mean, a mistake from beginning could be a bit more specific, even though we got quite much push from Vinngroups that you need to be really specific, but we weren't ready at that stage. So you need to, for our sake, you really need to decide what is your unique offer. Be hard to copy. And that is not something that we've stopped because we know it already. That is continuous, constant journey for us. So that is the only one. Be really hard to copy. Can anyone else do it? Don't do it.
So have you done any mistakes that you recall that you think are very specifically valuable?
Absolutely. The first, big in-house project. Was it a mistake? No, because of that project we built, a whole company upon that. But we did a lot of failure in whatever we wanted, how we offered to the customer. But each and every lesson from there created our structure later on.
Cool. All right.
So
very good.
Mistakes are so without making lessons learned, mistakes are horrible.
Right. Karin, with volume control. Yeah.
Yes, I think this is a nice question because we have, within Vinngroup, we have meetings with the CEOs 4 times a year, is it? Yeah, and we went, this last weekend we were away, and we had this round table question, what would you done differently? So that's one way of really following up, so we can share mistakes with each other as well. So we try to do that. And I don't remember what I answered, but what I think about right now is, I think I've done a mistake in trying to be, you have to follow your heart and your passion, and don't try to please other people too much. And I think one of that discussion is if Vinngroup are asking something for you and you really don't believe in that, then in the beginning it could be easy to be a little too much a follower, I believe in them and I think they have the right idea and so on, and I have to really do that. But you have feel in your heart that it's not really what you believe in. So I think I've learned, and one mistake was that in the beginning was a little bit too how can you say, too smooth or too much into pleasing instead of believing and stand up for things. And when I start doing that, I think it entered up much better. So that's something you really need to, for my opinion, that was important.
Very nice. Thank you.
In the Vinngroups, do you have some kind of exit strategy, like going public or doing a management buyout, or is it just to stay within the group?
That's a good
question. I could only speak for myself. When I started, it was important for me to understand, is there a way out in case? Now it's totally different, because now every day is a journey. It's like bringing up a company not to sell it, but to make it profitable, but also very much providing value for me. What happens tomorrow, don't know, don't care. Because this is not about window dressing or, making a good kind of dressing up a company. This is why we do have the whole shareholding perspective, that the company needs to be profitable for the entrepreneurs right now, today. Therefore, we have a 2-month, make a business profitable. That is important. But what happens tomorrow? What happens in 2-3 years? I don't know. And don't matter, because if you build a really good value and stable business, anything can happen. So in that sense, it's good to have all of the options and not only one way.
I think it's 2 questions. One, really, it's the Vinngroups perspective, and it's of course the company perspective that we represent. And I'm not sure if they are really getting together or not. But of course, from an entrepreneur as Hans, who is the founder of this Vinngroups company, I mean, he's an entrepreneur. I think he started 40 companies, and he's put 20 companies on the stock market and so on. So, of course, we are very naive if we think this is the only thing he wants to do for the rest of his life. So, of course, there could be such a plan in a bigger perspective, but we don't know when or where. And that is, as Sofia said, that's not the most important thing for us.
Actually, I thought Hans would retire when he got 60.
Yeah,
but I think
he promised us.
He thinks this is really too adventurous. He doesn't want to.
Because it happens so much all the time. I mean, we are 15 companies. He started 15 companies within Vinngroups. So, of course, he's very busy all the time. But I think for us, I think I totally agree with you. If we should start thinking like that, that would be... We can't do that. That's against our nature, I think. But of course, we love to start and change things. So when this is ongoing, we will probably be bored. So I don't know. We have to make that plan, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think what you said is quite true for me, at least. That if we would just going to continue as it is, I will get bored. So something has to happen, but I don't know about the plan.
No retirement
and still it's happening
yet.
within the company. So
But it may change tomorrow since you just turned 35.
Exactly.
All right, awesome.
Because you're so picky.
Yeah. All right. Sofia? There you are.
Hey.
So you spoke about that one manager who believed in you very early on. So my question is, are you becoming that one manager to lift an apprentice of yours to pass on the legacy?
You need to ask my colleagues over there. Malin actually sitting just behind you. I think the whole driving force for that is the entrepreneurship. I mean, being a CEO is not that hype-ish. It's much better to bring up new business. Whoever that is CEO, I believe in being manager is something that you need to have for 5 years. After that, you need to pass it on for someone else who could bring in, new energy. So entrepreneurship doesn't base on your title. So our driving force in that is to, bring up new people who could actually making new stuff, new vision, new business model. So it's not a competitive issue here. I have high hopes.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
You bet. Yeah. Please do.
Yeah, I think also this is what makes you grow also when you have this kind of role, that you see other people being more brave or more passionate about what they do and giving them new chances. That is really what gives me the most back. I love when we have new business, of course. But if I see a person who do something for the first time, is very scared about doing it and loves it afterwards, that makes me so happy. So really try to remind myself about bringing up new, as Hans used to say, or we say all the time, new talents. That's really one of the best part of this job. Absolutely.
Very nice. You had a great mentor experience you mentioned before.
And of course I want to be that kind of manager, of course. That's what I'm aiming for. And I do my best. I don't know if I succeed, but I do my best at it. And as Sofia said, I guess you have to ask my colleagues if I'm doing a good job or not.
You've had ever where you felt a feeling that it's in the right direction or opposite?
I think I've had a feeling of both, actually. Yeah.
And how do you deal when you feel that you're not a great manager?
It's their fault.
Well, love honesty.
No.
Great to
I'm
be
a
straight
victim.
up.
I'm a victim again.
No, but that's. I think that's the most challenging part of the job, actually.
Yeah.
When you feel like the employees are not happy with something, and you feel like you can't give them what they want or what they need, or then you have to start really understand what kind of driving force they have, and start to dig deeper and see if you can find common what do you say?
Common ground.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Still, though, I need to say, opposite to the corporate life, that being an entrepreneur is constant focus on bringing business, which means that, that is the 100% focus. So people that, the leadership, to being a good manager, of course, that is your main responsibility as well at the same time. So you have limited possibilities to, really focus on the people that you have within your team. So therefore, you need to hire right people who don't actually require that much management. They understand that the focus needs to be on the business. And I need my team to require whatever they need to bring the business on the right side.
Awesome.
And also help them help each other. That's part of the managing thing as well. You don't need to be the only one that they can ask. They can ask each other, and they can grow together as well. That's also the rescue part sometimes. Yeah.
Awesome.
How you can survive. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna take the last question of the evening. I think it's a great one. We'll start with Linda and take the path this way. And Victor Nord, where you at? Here you are.
Hello. So where do you find your inspiration?
That's a hard.
Especially in the hard times.
I think I find my inspiration within my team. It's when you have colleagues that you really trust and rely on, and the kind of energy that you have within the team, even though we might lost a few quotes, if you can back up each other, and you hear great ideas coming from the people within the team, that gives me so much energy. So I think I would say within my team.
Awesome, thank you.
That's hard to beat.
I
don't find my energy within my team. Of course, you find the team is of course very, very important.
Find it on the internet.
Internet. I Google it. No, I think I need to add something, but of course the team is extremely important, and that's why you want to be picky on the ones people you have around you, because you want to be able to be very again, very honest with the feelings you have, and if you're disappointed as a manager, you need to be honest with that. And I think one of the inspirations thing is also to share these experiences you have. So that could be within the team, but it could also be, networking and discuss it with others, and don't be so prestige that you can't admit that you need more energy or whatever. Because sometimes you need new inspiration, and you can be very, very open-minded with that and ask for it, and people will give it to you because people are very kind most of the time. So go out there and bring it in. That's
awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure what you mean. Is it that to have the energy to continue when it's hard time, or inspiration for new ideas and new business opportunities?
I keep the energy level up.
Do you think it's two different things?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Develop on that.
Yeah.
I mean, getting inspired and finding out new, possibilities. That is exactly what keeps me on going in Vinnter, and the possibilities are endless. At the same time, the energy from what if it doesn't work is, for me, settling with the perspective that it is okay to, don't succeed. On a certain level, of course, I have salary for my people to be paid. But settling with the fact that everything doesn't need to be a big success. And by trying out new perspective, idea generation, idea evaluation, concept generation, and the whole that gives us new ideas all the time. Not everything is perfect, absolutely not, and we kill our ideas all the time. But inspiration needs to be, boosted by the fact that doesn't need to be a total success. But in that sense, we need to keep at least 75% on business on solid ground. And the rest could be of, that kind of adventurous kind of business opportunity, inspirational stuff. But internet, I mean it.
Yeah, Google
it.
You want to add something?
When you mentioned that, I just want to mention another thing about the Vinngroup idea, because Vinngroup is quite picky on us in earning money. We have really, really high goals.
Yeah.
And within the consultant area, I think we deliver very good results. Mm-hmm. So, and the reason for that is what Hans keeps saying is because we want you to earn as much money so you can have fun as well. Because if you're just on the limit all the time to give the salaries and do the things you need to do, then you don't have the time to have fun, as you say. You don't have the time to don't do the success and everything. So you need to have some extra money to have fun with. And that could be have fun with your team, doing inspirational things together, or just try out a new crazy idea and let that cost some money because you need that. So we try to have this extra buffer. That is really very part.
The motto is earn enough money so you can choose whatever you want to work with. Mm. And if your offering is not attractive enough, then it's not good enough. Mm. Then you're just mainstream. So be hard to copy. Mm. Can anyone else do it? Don't do it.
And don't be afraid of letting your clients pay for it. That's also one of the parts. Parts. Mm. Yeah.
Super interesting.
Mm-hmm. We can go on for a long time.
So we're not. I mean, we sit here and talk if we have all the recipe and we know exactly. Absolutely not. We make mistakes on daily, hourly basis.
Not hourly.
Hourly basis.
This was not a mistake.
I have great colleagues to keep me on the ground. But I mean, we don't know it yet. This is why we want to meet you guys and girls. We need to understand your perspective. Why are you fearless?
Awesome. Well, then let's make sure to take care of that and leave room for hanging out afterwards. Thank you so much for being so open and honest.
Thank you for listening.
A huge round of applause, everybody.